Hey guys, welcome back to Rachel Reviews. This week we're going to be reviewing an app called Tophat. This app is actually a requirement for one of my classes this term at Waterloo, which is how I found out about it. So for the past 2 months that I've been using it, I've actually been noticing a lot of big and small things that could just be enhanced or fixed, and that's what we're going to be diving into today. So as per usual, we're just going to start with the onboarding or creating a profile. So after downloading the app, the initial page when you open the app is actually very aesthetically pleasing and simple and clean. For students, it gives you two options to either log in or to create an account. And then there is also the bottom section for professors, but we're not going to dive into that today. So to create an account or a user profile, you're asked to put in a 6-digit code, which is given to you by the professor. Once you put in the correct code, it matches the code with the course, and it'll give you the option on the bottom here with the course title, the professor's name, and the course code again. And then you just click join to join it. You are then brought to a page to confirm your school. Once you click continue, it also asks you for an email, and this should be your university email. Now, since I've already made an account using my university email, it actually won't let me do it again. But after you put in your email, it just asks you to specify a password and then choose your payment options. So the one thing about this app is that it's actually not free. You do have to pay for the service. And you can select one of 3 payment options. So the first one here is 1 term or 4 months, and that's $26, an entire year, which is $38, or 4 years, which is $75. So choosing and paying for the service is actually the final onboarding step, so the final step in the process. And then at this point, it will actually redirect you to the main page, which they call the lobby, where we are right now. All in all, the onboarding process was very simple, very easy and painless, and the steps were relatively easy to follow. Okay, so now on to using the app. Like I said previously, this is the main screen, or the lobby as they call it. It does have, as I said previously, a very aesthetically pleasing and simple layout that seems very easy to use. This is where you'll find all the courses listed that you're registered for. In my case, it's Entrepreneurship Principles and Practices 2017 that's listed on the top. There is a button near the bottom to add additional courses. As you can see, you just need to put in another 6-digit code. And then you'll also see 2 buttons on the top right-hand corner, one for help services, and then the other one for account setting, where it just lists all of the details of your account. So when actually selecting the course that you're enrolled in, you're brought to the course homepage, where you will be given 3 tabs to choose from that are listed on the bottom of the screen: lectures, assigned homework, and grades. One of the first things I noticed when flipping through the tabs is actually that the banner on the top changes color depending on which tab you're on, and it matches the highlighted color of the selected tab as well. I find that this is a very nice UX touch, as it helps make it very clear where you are in the app and helps with navigation. So the main task I use Tophat for is answering questions during class lectures. My personal professor doesn't really use the assignments section, so I'm just going to be going over the questions portion of the app. So the process of answering questions is actually relatively straightforward when it works. The professor will release a question during a lecture, and it will appear in the lecture tab of the application. From there, you can select the question and submit the answer and wait for the time to expire. So as you can see, once you select an option, a little blue dot appears next to the letter to indicate which option you've chosen. You can also see that a new button has appeared on the bottom that says Submit. You can click through as many multiple choice options as you want until you think you have the correct answer, but as soon as you click Submit, you can no longer change your answer.
Once you click submit, the button disappears, and you get a small notification on the bottom that says has been answered. And now you wait and see if you get the answer correct. So once you've submitted your answer and the time has run out, the app will automatically bring you back to the lobby. The one major UX issue I see here, though, is that it doesn't actually tell you if you got the answer correct or not. You have to go to your grades and check that.
So at a brief glance, the app UI and navigation is clean, aesthetically pleasing, and easy to use. However, the main issue with this app, and the reason for the 2.9-star review on the App Store, is actually the act of using the app. After using the application for many weeks, speaking to fellow students, and reading the reviews left on the App Store, the consensus is that 60 to 70% of the time the application works, but 30 to 40% of the time the app crashes and fails to load questions during lectures before the time expires. You see, when you fail to answer a question, it counts as a 0, which can drastically affect your overall grade in the application. This is a very frustrating experience as an end user. At the moment, when you really need to use the app, it fails. As you can see in the top right, so far I have 3 missed questions, and those are all because the app wouldn't load them. Next, we're going to talk about improvements. There are a few suggestions that I have for potentially improving this application and how it works. The first thing is to be able to access questions offline. I find one of the major issues when using this app is in a lecture of 250 students, when everyone is trying to use the same Wi-Fi to load the same app or website, the app will sometimes fail to load the questions. When everyone is trying to use the app on the same Wi-Fi, it really exposes the weaknesses of the app's architecture. As an improvement, I would allow teachers to load the questions in advance, perhaps in the lecture or the assignments section. Teachers would be able to specify the time at which the questions were displayed in the application. This would really help to alleviate the congestion of the network and remove the frustration of not being able to access the questions when you need to. The second part of the improvement would be ensuring that answers are queued in the application if there are any issues with uploading answers. Both of these improvements would go a long way when addressing the frustration that most people I have spoke with have with this application. Another thing reviews, other students, and from personal experience that I've noticed is that at this point, not many professors are using this application in class, and so students are having to pay for the subscription of the application and having to buy a clicker to use for other classes, which makes it very expensive for students. To solve this, I recommend making it more appealing to teachers and students by gamifying it. Take the Time Play app, for example. This is the app from Cineplex. It's a very similar concept where people are given questions on a screen and you answer through a mobile app. The more questions you get right, the more points you get, and the more likely you are to win a prize. Using a game-style method to incentivize students to pay for the app, you can get more attention from more professors as a helpful option instead of using a clicker. Some additional improvements. Lastly, I'm going to point out a couple of small design flaws and simple solutions that can make the overall experience of using this application better and more efficient. The first thing I noticed when using the app is the X in the top left corner. You see, to leave a course to go into a different one, you have to click the X, which then brings you back to the menu, and then you select another course. A much easier way to do this, and more efficient, would be a pull-out menu, so you could easily navigate through them without having to go back and forth to the lobby. The second thing is the connection to the internet. You see, if you aren't connected to the internet, the app just won't load at all. Instead, all you'll see is a white page. This can be very frustrating for a user who might not know that they are connected to Wi-Fi or data. A very simple solution would just be to pull up a notification that alerts the user that they aren't connected and can recommend to the user to check their network connection. Take Facebook Messenger, for example. When you enter Facebook Messenger without Wi-Fi, there is a large orange band on the top of the page that notifies the user that they are connected. As soon as it registers the network, the orange turns to green, and it notifies the user that the network is connected, and they can use the application like normal. This would be a very simple and good addition to the Tophat application. Third, when going to the Help and Success Center, It takes a minimum of 5 seconds for the page to load. Now normally that wouldn't be an issue, because there would be an indicator on the page that something is loading. However, the page doesn't give you an indication, and for the most part, people won't stare at a blank page for 5 seconds, because at that point, they assume it's not going to load and click away. A very easy solution would be to add some kind of indicator so the user knows the page is loading. The fourth and final additional improvement is deleting courses. You see, when initially setting up my account, I actually accidentally registered for a past course, which is the second entrepreneurship course seen in my lobby. The bad design part is that after multiple attempts, I still can't figure out how to unregister myself and delete it from my lobby. This option should be as easy as selecting the course and having a delete button. This should be very simple because if you do end up using this app for many courses, your lobby could get very clogged very easily if you're not sure how to delete courses. In conclusion, I think the Tophat is a useful tool to help encourage class participation. The UI is clean, with the simple screen layouts and easy navigations. There are a few UI and UX improvements that I think could help make the user's experience a little better. However, the main issue with this application is the inability to work properly when network connections are not optimal. The Tophat developers need to address these application design flaws if they hope to get their application rating up and address a lot of the users' frustrations. That's all I have for you guys today on Rachel Reviews. Hope you enjoyed this video on Tophat. If you did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and comment below what apps I should review next.